my friends? This is Josh with the Synchronized Universe podcast, coming on to give you a little bit of an update on me and things I got going on. Been doing a weekly radio show with my buddy Ricky. I'm talking about the Annunaki and various other spiritual subjects. Getting pretty excited. Just got off work. Actually, going to be heading to the to a cabin with the wife this weekend. Going to be a great time without the kids. It's the first time in probably a couple years, I think it's been, since we've gotten out for any major amount of time without the kids. So it's pretty exciting. Always a little nerve-wracking. If there's any parents out there, they can understand. Like, it's one of those things, got to get over the nerves to enjoy. You don't get very many opportunities like this to really get out and just kind of vegetate out without the kiddos. Tend to get lost in the day-to-day world and forget like why you came together as a couple to begin with. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Just gonna go hang out, just the two of us, hot tub under the stars, baby. But yeah, in any case, been talking pretty heavily and researching pretty heavily for our upcoming podcast stuff. We're doing a whole series on the Annunaki and how they may or may not have influenced religion. All the religions that we have on Earth today may or may not have come from more of a singular source than previous thought. And there's a lot of tons and tons of data to go over for this subject, and it's honestly it's a mind-blowing, eye-opening thing. And anybody who knows anything about the Anunnaki, this is a really, really fascinating yet controversial subject, really, because it's essentially saying, if this stuff is true, then our entire history has to be rewritten. Everything we believe in. And honestly, I'm okay with that because, any research into history, ancient civilizations, or anything like that will tell you that we know very little about where we come from as a species. And we honestly have no idea what we're doing on this planet. We have lots of theories, lots of different ideas. Lots of people have told us what we're doing here. Schools have told us certain things. Churches have told us certain things. And honestly, when you really boil it down to it, a lot of it does not make sense. The religious stuff is cut and dry. Can't question anything that they tell you. Otherwise, it's a blasphemy. I mean, back in the day, you'd be put to death for that kind of stuff. And it's just wild, man. History itself is just wild. And the more I learn, the more I research into the subject, the more I find out that I don't know. And that's what fascinates me the most. It's just the pursuit of knowledge itself. That's all I really want. That's my goal here. And my goal, again, is to make people question the world around them and not accept what they've been told as absolute fact. Because, honestly, science changes every day. History changes every day. And most people have no idea. Like, most people have never looked outside the science they were taught in grade school. Like, they have no idea the different discoveries that have come about, so they gawk at things that don't make any sense because, oh, that can't be right because I was taught this in school. And the fact is, new discoveries are being made every single day. And they're starting to confirm a lot of old knowledge, a lot of knowledge that is said to be, that's taboo. Like, oh, that can't be the case. That's, ramblings of an ancient people, ancient cultures, spiritual nonsense. And, like, they're starting to confirm it, more and more each day. Like, for instance, like the idea that the universe is a hologram. That's something people laugh at. But if you look into the CIA documents on this, the CIA believes that the universe is a hologram. And what does that mean, really? What does the universe being a hologram mean? That means that everything is energy. That's what it means. And that's provable. If you take a magnifying, a microscope and microscope yourself, or, take a skin cell and go all the way down to the atoms, it's nothing but energy. That's what we're made of. Trillions and trillions of these atoms, maybe even more than trillions, so that's essentially what we are. We are nothing more than pure energy existing. Energy that has never, doesn't start, doesn't end, it just does. There is no beginning, there is no end to what you really are. And that, your energy self. And that kind of stuff is what fascinates me. And again, that's something that's provable. Everything is made out of atoms. Atoms are energy. Therefore, everything is energy. It just looks physical, right? And we can feel it, we can touch it. But, is it our minds that make it real? No, that's one of those pondering questions, right? But anyway, yeah, we've been, again, discussing the Anunnaki in great length and all the different stories behind that. Honestly, there's literally, thousands and thousands of different books that go talk about the Anunnaki. There's all sorts of different ways to spin the story, to talk about it. But the fact is, like, if we want to discover where we come from, like, that group of beings is a good place to start, because whether we like to think it or not, like, they were definitely involved in humanity, whether it was to bring us up into civilization, out from the rocks, whatever you want to call it. They were involved. There's depictions in almost every single ancient culture in the world of interacting with beings that were more advanced than themselves. Call them gods, call them what you will. There's depictions of these beings flying in spaceships. There's all sorts of this stuff that if you just open your mind up enough, you can see it. Like, turning a blind eye to something just because it doesn't fit your worldview is ignorance. And that's the kind of stuff that we've been conditioned to do when our mind is challenged with new types of information. We've been designed, that's evil. It's got to be against the Lord, against God, blah, 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 blah. And that is what society has taught us. That is what school has taught us, to not question everything around you. Accept everything that your government says as fact. And as we can see, the government cannot be trusted. Anybody who blindly trusts the government at this point in time, in this day and age, is clearly ignorant. That's just the bottom line, okay? Like, that's just something that if you look at any kind of research outside of what we've been told, you'll see that, no, not at all. Like, I was just having a discussion with somebody about conspiracy stuff, conspiracy theories, and they're like, I was like, yeah, I don't believe, just because you believe in one conspiracy theory or multiple does not mean you then believe in all of them. Like, this whole all or nothing game that humans have to play is stupid. Like, you can be in the middle ground on some stuff. I know for a fact that there's tons of conspiracy theories that are absolutely BS. 100%. However, there's also a ton that have literally been proven true as documents get declassified. There's MK Ultra, there's Operation High Jump, where we took all the, is it High Jump? I think it's Operation High Jump, where we took all the Nazi scientists from World War II after we defeated Germany, or Germany was defeated. I shouldn't say we, because we had a small part to play in that war. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, there's a ton, and you can look online to find this stuff out. There has been a ton of conspiracy stuff that has been absolutely proven as fact. So before you down people for looking into conspiracy stuff, you need to do your own research. Because I promise you, the whole conspiracy theorist thing is a weaponized term. Break out your tinfoil hat. They tell that to people who dare to question the world around them and dare to question the government's version of things. Because I promise you, again, any look into history will show you that the government has proven that they will wipe out people left and right, for no freaking reason. And, again, that's something you can confirm. Like, I don't know. I used to be all for supporting, the country we live in. And I support the people we live in, but I do not support our government. Our government is 100% organized criminals. And to think otherwise is not to do the research necessary, okay? These people are millionaires sitting in office while we are working and slaving just to be able to afford freaking rent, for God's sakes. Like, no, we need to recycle everybody in office, first of all. Like, this is mind-blowing, man. Like, meanwhile, they keep us busy down here arguing over absolutely fucking nonsense. Excuse my language there. It is what it is. It's something that fires me up. Like, they are keeping us busy arguing with each other about nonsense so that we cannot see that we are being robbed and sold to the highest bidder. It is mind-blowing to me when I see my friends and colleagues go to war with each other essentially over opinions on stupid-ass shit. Again, language, sorry. But it is like the whole argument of left versus right, which one of us is right? Well, obviously you both can't be right, okay? That's not the way anything works. This whole sides game is dumb. There's got to be a middle ground, okay? Just like the whole idea that my religion is better than yours, my God is better than yours, my way of life is better than yours. No. We have, I don't know, 6 billion people on this planet now. Everybody cannot be correct, okay? Every religion cannot be correct. It's statistically impossible. If everybody's going to go to hell because they don't follow a particular religion that says that means everyone is, okay? That's just a fact. So that means only the small group of Christians are going to go to heaven, my friends. Does that sound correct to you? That a small chosen group are going to go to heaven while the rest of us rot and die because we didn't follow their exact religion? No. It is time we stop accepting things as we've been told. And again, as per my last episode, we question everything around us. That's just the facts. That's what we have to do. We have to start asking the big questions and asking, where did my religion come from? Honestly, have you ever taken the time to legitimately research where your religion got its start? Not what your pastors told you, not what, your parents have told you. You look it up for yourself because this information is readily available online. And I think it will surprise you to know the beginnings of your religion. It's just the facts. Most people will they'll read the Bible like, all the answers are in here. The 100%, everything you need to know about everything is in here. And that is the grand manipulation, my friends. I'm not saying that you shouldn't gain strength from your religion and by all means, believe in God and practice in your own way. But to not ever look outside of a singular source of book because you've been told you cannot is the grand manipulation. That is controlling the information, that is therefore controlling your reality. And that's what I want you to see. Anybody who's listening to this, that's what I want you to see. Is the grand manipulation. How many wars, how many wars have been fought? How many people have died over religion? Over playing the my God is better than your God game. My country is better than your country game. How many people in the Bible, the God favorite? Why would an all-loving God favorite anybody? Why would he favor one group over another? Why? That is mind-blowingly ignorant to believe that without question. Okay? Like, there's countries that are still going to war to this day, still executing people for daring to question outside their religion, as if God, wants us to kill each other because that person doesn't believe in me. Come on, dude. That's wild. And we accept that. Like, in a civilized country, if I were to, go kill 300 people because they blasphemed God, I'm going to go to prison, probably get executed. But this has happened all throughout history, and people accept that as okay. As, well, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have questioned God. You shouldn't have had these evil thoughts. You shouldn't have been doing anything. Then Sodom and Gomorrah wouldn't have got destroyed. It's wild, man. Like, again, researching this stuff gets me fired up, and it gets me wanting to talk about it because, again, this is something that most people don't do because they're scared. Because they're scared that they're going to go to hell. If that's the case, if I am going to go to hell for questioning this stuff, by all means, that's where I'm going to be. But I strongly doubt that living a life with goodwill towards others and, practicing, being just kind, just being a kind soul to others, that you're going to go to hell. And if that's the case, I welcome it willingly. Because that can't be correct. Okay? I refuse to believe that a person, like a Buddhist, for example, lives his whole life in nothing but service to another person. Nothing but service to, like, the source, to God, essentially. is going to go to hell simply because they did not accept Jesus as their Savior. Okay? That's wild. And this is stuff that we believe even to this day, because the God of vengeance in the Bible has got it in our heads that we're going to be wiped out if we don't, follow the commandments to the T and all that stuff. And it's crazy, man. I've been debating a long time about starting to talk about this, and because this is something I learned a long time ago. I used to be a very devout Christian. I used to go to church. I used to, read the Bible every single day. I've read the Bible all throughout. And honestly, when I was in church, I had to put away my critical thinker, okay? Because you're not allowed to use critical thinking in a church, okay? You can't ask too many questions because they're like, oh, you just got to have faith. And that's wild, man. That's something I can't accept. I want to know the answers to why. Just like I want to know the true answers to our history on this planet. And again, that's why I'm doing the podcast. That's why I'm doing this stuff. Is to really just ask the questions. Why? And get other people to ask these questions. It's crazy, man. I've gotten a lot of comments on some of these shows, and people they go right back to the, you're gonna go to hell because God says so, and there's even somebody that said, or messaged me privately that said, I hope you're okay with going to hell, and I hope you're okay with your kids going to hell. It's that's crazy, man. That's wild that people will message you that kind of stuff and assume that saying things like that is going to be okay. Yes, you're for sure getting into heaven while condemning somebody else to go to hell. There's no, where does it say you need to do that? I believe it says you should treat others as you would want to be treated. But again, most people don't follow their own religion. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing on Tuesdays. I think the title of this one is the Annunaki influence on early religion, and the idea whether or not Atlantis, the story of Atlantis is connected in all this, because according to the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki is connected with Atlantis. How they are is a question. Whether it's through the god Thoth, which is Ninja's Zita, which is also Enki's son, who also is apparently Hermes. I know it's some wild stuff here, but history, if you really read these Sumerian tablets and all this stuff, history talks about these heroes of old and whatnot, these gods essentially, they lived among men. It is not that these figures were mythical by any means. They have stories of them literally going to battle alongside these gods. And the fact is, these were not gods at all. These were more advanced versions of us that created us as slaves on this planet. And to this day, they have maintained a set of controls on this planet through religion and many other aspects. The government is another major one. There's a reason why we have, the government is the way it is in most countries. We have political sides that can never get anything accomplished while the rich corporations are stealing all the money. I'm telling you, man, once you really go down this hole, it's hard to really go back and look at the world the same, because it's essentially provable. You can see it. When you look at the different religions of the world, you can see how much control they have exercised over information, over people, over governments. It's wild. And we accept this as norm because that is what a slave does. They wait for somebody to come save them. They wait for somebody to tell them it's okay. When in reality, all we have to do is stand up in unison and the game is over. And I don't want to get people to get the wrong idea. I firmly believe in God. I firmly believe in the source of the universe. And there is a source. 100%. I feel it in my soul. And I understand absolutely why you can have a God connection in almost any religion. It doesn't matter what you follow, because we're always connected with God. All you have to do is seek something higher than yourself, and you can feel that connection. That's why it literally doesn't matter which of the religions you follow, you can still get the God connection. Anybody that tells you otherwise is ignorant. They're speaking from a place of ignorance. And that's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you follow a particular religion. Get a hymn that you like from the Bible and read it and rejoice and feel that. But don't close yourself off from new information because of your beliefs. Like, the Bible is a collection not only of earlier texts, but there's been a lot of texts that have been omitted from it. It was compiled by Constantine the Great, and they decided what was going to go in and what was not going to go in the Bible based to fit a certain story. Again, that sounds kind of crazy, but it's 100% true. You can research it. Just like that with many other religions were the same way. And again, I don't want to cloud the fact that I 100% believe in God. I've had enough experiences in my life to know that there is someone out there watching out for me 100%. And the more I talk about it, the more I experience it. It's the whole idea behind the name of my podcast, Synchronized Universe. It's because I know that someone is out there guiding me, watching me every step of the way. What that is unknown to me. Whether it's God, whether it's a more advanced version of myself, who knows? But the fact is, I've seen too many things, too many coincidences, quote unquote, to not believe that, the universe is alive. The universe is one living being. And that's what they say in a lot of these ancient mystic texts, is that everything and everyone in this universe comes from one source, one place. We are all the creator experiencing itself through an infinite number of realities. And that's wild to think about. Like, this is one of an infinite number of versions of this thing. That's the idea of deja vu. Is that one of the theories on deja vu is that it's the different universes syncing up at the same time, right? That's a crazy one to ponder, man. But again, I'm about out of time. Getting ready to go to the cabin this weekend. Gonna probably ingest some psychedelics with the wife and hopefully be in touch with the stars. That's what we're gonna do. Anyway, I'm glad that you all decided to take a moment to listen. Hopefully I can get you to question the world around you. Again, this is Josh with the Synchronized Universe podcast. Please jump on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're doing with the Blog Talk Radio, the Paranormal Truth Seekers with Ricky the Fountain. We're doing the expose on the Annunaki. Please jump on, give it a like, give it a follow. Have a great day. God bless.